The 2024 Milano-Sanremo delivered a thriller, heart-pounding, unknown until the last seconds on the Via Roma. No, it was not Tadej Pogacar. No, it was not Mathieu van der Poel, but Van der Poel's Alpecin-Deceuninck teammate, Jasper Philipsen. The Belgian beat Michael Matthews and Pogacar in a reduced group sprint after a tense final 10 kilometers. Jasper Philipsen, welcome to the Monuments Club. 1 year after Van der Poel, this year, his teammate pulled off victory. The world champion Van der Poel in his 2024 season debut made sure that Philipsen was placed for the sprint after marking Pogacar and unable to attack solo himself. Philipsen, after the race, said, "It's incredible. One of my dreams, one of the dreams of any cyclist to win here. To be a sprinter and to win it, it's incredible. It makes me really proud and happy, especially after the lead out I got from Mathieu van der Poel." The nearly 300-kilometer race came down to a small group sprint of elite riders. Tadej Pogacar, Team UAE Emirates, had tried over the Poggio to attack free, tried twice. Matej Mohoric, a Bahrain victorious, tried at the base of the descent. Then Matteo Sobrero, he surprised us. The Team Bora Hansgrohe rider went free. Tom Pidcock followed him. But Van der Poel brought it all back for a sprint, and Philipsen delivered. Philipsen added, "It was a fast race all day, but I was feeling good all the time. I believed in myself, but everything had to go to perfection. I managed to come back. I wasn't used to sprinting after 300 kilometers, and I could feel the difference. I didn't expect Michael Matthews to be that good, but I'm glad that I managed to beat him." The race, after 288 kilometers, 6 hours and 15 minutes in the saddle, the fastest in history for the riders, 46.1 kilometers an hour average. The last fastest, the one it beat, was back in 1990 when Johnny Bunyo won. All of our attention this morning was on Tadej Pogacar of Team UAE Emirates, winner of 3 other monuments, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, the Tour of Flanders, and Il-Lombardia. He won Strade Bianche in his season debut 2 weeks ago with an 81-kilometer solo attack. And today, he raced for the second time in the season and out for the 4th of 5 monuments. And we also focused on the other star favorite, Mathieu van der Poel, Team Alpecin-Deceuninck. We saw the Dutchman in Pavia at the start for the first time in his World Championship stripes, winner in Glasgow last fall, and after winning the Cyclocross World Championships this winter, starting his 2024 road campaign. In addition to the stripes, he had the number 1 on his back as the 2023 winner. It was hard to look elsewhere, frankly, other than those two, Pogacar and Van der Poel. Perhaps over to Mads Pedersen of Team Lidl Trek. The Dane's been going so well so far this early season and supported by a strong team, including former Sanremo winner Jasper Stuyven. And maybe Matej Mohoric, the former winner, they would all come out and play. We'd see them all in the final. Early on in the day, well, it was 10 men that dominated the TV time. 3 riders from Team Polti, 3 from Quaratec, and 2 from Bardiani, all small Italian teams. We all, though, waited for the climb of Torquino and the nervous coastline that would follow. It was going to be there that one of Italy's biggest classics would be fought. Absolute warfare, attacks, counterattacks over the Tre Capi, especially the third one, Capo Berta, and for sure the final 2 climbs of Cipressa and Poggio. The Berta, following a crash that we saw, eliminated Christophe Laporte of Team Visma Lisa Bike, and then Alexander Kristoff of Team Uno X. And remember, he won here 10 years ago, back in 2014. Visma, without Laporte though, kept charging ahead with Olaf Koy, who was on a ripper of a debut in the race. Then there was Team Ineos and Lidl Trek doing so well as teams and riding at the front. UAE put its plan into place for Pogacar. Domen Novak had been hammering hard. Alessandro Covi too, at 26.9 kilometers out, on the Cipressa, 5.6 kilometers long with a max of 9%. EF and Ineos led into it. But Isaac Del Toro put his Mexican muscle to work for Tadej Pogacar. The group was in bits. It eased up, then Belgian Tim Wellens hit again. UAE Team Emirates rider. This is what I liked. Team UAE Emirates putting its plan into place. It needed to hit all the rivals hard in the minds and in the legs if Pogacar was to have a chance. With an attack on the Cipressa, and if not, on the Poggio, and who knows, maybe in the sprint. Pogacar lives in Monaco, just down the road from Sanremo. He'd been training on the roads in recent days. He didn't sense his chance on the Cipressa, but looked forward to the Poggio climb. Lidl again led the race, wrapped up the escape, passing one of the riders who'd crashed, a Movistar rider. If Pogacar looked around, besides Lidl Trek's Mads Pedersen, there was Van der Poel with teammate Philipsen, Pidcock with Ghana, Biniam Girmay, Fred Wright with his teammate Morohic, Alberto Bettiol, who had just won Milano-Torino, and the second division team of Tudor with Matteo Trentin, and they led the race onto the Poggio, the final climb of the day. Pogacar was ready. He moved up, following the absolute hammer pace of teammate Tim Wellens. He goes. The reverb of the Poggio attack could be felt down the coast in Monaco. 6.5 kilometers to race, 1 kilometer to the top. Pogacar's move ripped the group, but Van der Poel, Bettiol, and Ghana were able to hold on. Then a regrouping. Stuyven took up the pace. It looked to be over. Then Pogacar launched again, 300 meters to the top. This time, he had a gap. Van der Poel had to launch his own attack to come to terms with Pogacar before the left-hand turn and the descent of the Poggio, one of the most iconic and crazy descents in cycling. After all that buildup, it came down to this descent and the 2 kilometers of flat stretch leading into Sanremo. Pogacar punched the pace upwards on the descent. Pidcock flew down the hill past Ghana to catch Pogacar and Van der Poel. Morohic, who won with a daredevil descent a few years back, launched, but at the base of the descent, and he wasn't able to get enough space. Matteo Sobrero, the Italian of Bora Hansgrohe, surprised us. He launched a move, and you know, it looked like the type of move that would be ignored by the stars and perhaps be given it space. But Tom Pidcock jumped on it, and there for a moment it seemed that Pidcock, the world champion mountain biker and winner on the Alpe d'Huez in the Tour de France, would go on to victory. But this is Milan-Sanremo, tension, stress, the build-up before heading into the unknown and that final burst of joy. But who would win on the Via Roma? The big white bullet of Mathieu van der Poel in the rainbow of world champion was pulling behind. He caught Tom Pidcock for his teammate in denim, Philipsen, who set a few wheels back behind Stuyven and behind Mads Pedersen of Lidl Trek, behind Michael Matthews, third already twice in Sanremo, who'd hitched a ride up to Pavia for the start of the race with Tadej Pogacar. It wasn't to be for those two. Instead, Philipsen, after 2 stage wins in the Tour de France, the Belgian raced in the shadow of his superstar teammate, but would shine on the Via Roma. Pogacar impressively saved himself on the flats for the sprint and finished third behind Matthews. We wonder what could have been for all of those riders, but mainly for Tadej Pogacar. He tried his attacks and spent so much energy on the descent and then still pulled off a decent sprint there in Sanremo. Pogacar, after the race, in a little press huddle, said, "I had really good legs today, but to finish on the podium beside Michael Matthews and Jasper Philipsen, I can be happy." Also, it was an elite group of sprinters. Of the attacking and the moves, he said, "It was a good plan. We executed it almost to perfection, but in cycling, you can almost never get a perfect plan." It appears Tadej Pogacar is not giving up on Milano-Sanremo. He added, "We changed this race in the last few years. We're trying to make it work, but it's hard to execute to perfection. Every year we put more work into it, more percent, and I think in the next years we can do it better." The Slovenian will be back for the Volta a Catalunya and then we'll see him again in the one-day race, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and then finally in May when he's going for the Giro d'Italia. Make sure you're subscribed, click the button down below so you're not missing out on any of the race coverage, highlights, and all the behind-the-scenes footage that we have coming up over the next few weeks. Next week on Friday, mark it on your calendar, live for all of our viewers in Canada, we have the E3. Then on Sunday, Ghent-Wevelgem. That's live for our viewers in the US, Canada, and Australia. Van der Poel will be back in those races, looking for win number 1 of the 2024 season on the road. But he'll be facing his longtime rival, Wout van Aert of Team Visma Lease Bike. Then, in the weeks ahead, the next monuments, the Tour of Flanders and Paris-Roubaix. But tonight, it's all about the celebration. He'll be celebrating along with Philipsen and the rest of the Alpecin-Deceuninck team for what was a fast, thrilling, and victorious 2024 Milano-Sanremo.